Morning, guys. So, last Friday I went to the AMP Road show in Singapore. Almost forgot about it. But I showed up and I thought it was well worth going to. And now, um, I was an AMP hater. Like, I've read blogs. I was skeptical, let's shall we say, about AMP. And I think my preconceptions have been sort of like, well, my preconceptions were that if I wrote a web page in AMP, that it would be uh, ranked higher than other pages in HTML pages, for example, which is wrong. But one of the developers did concede that it might the news articles, if there are news articles, would maybe be featured in a carousel, which arguably is a positive signal. The other thing, I thought that AMP was like proprietary web or something like that. It's not. It's, no more proprietary than any React component out there. So yeah, who did I meet, which I thought was interesting? I met Paul Backhouse, Joey Rosa, and Erwin Mombe. I think Erwin seemed to be almost the most technical speaker of the lot. I mean, so I would probably direct my technical questions to him. Um, but they all seemed really nice guys, and let's be honest, there was like, what do you call it, the page speed checker to make sure that people had fast web pages, but people didn't seem to use that or care about it. So what AMP does is define some sane web components which makes the web fast and basically disables JavaScript. And that's just a huge boon for the web, really. I mean, now we have um, fast web pages when you use AMP. Of course, there is that, and I did question about it, like that whole Google Cache CDN. They argue it's part of their platform, and well, I still wish I could use maybe another use CloudFront. Well, the interesting thing is that they did admit that that whole Google Cache sharing URL thing was a bug. So hopefully they can fix that issue. I mean, hopefully we don't even know that there's a Google Cache behind it. There's a lot of people that doesn't have the time and to basically set up a CDN. So if Google Cache can set up a CDN, in my opinion, for you automatically behind the scenes, I'm actually kind of for it. I'm actually kind of for it. Of course, working out if people being to your web pages is a little bit difficult, but there are analytics things. There was also a female speaker, I forgot her name, but she was good, and I thought the whole AMP ads thing. To be honest, I thought like maybe Google was already inserting ads into AMP pages. That's not right. You do have the choice, and there's this thing called AMP ads, which I think might just bring sanity back to advertising, hopefully. So to round up, switching my own web page, my own home page, as you all know, is Hendry@Iki.Fiat. This is now an AMP page. How do I know it's an AMP page? I got the AMP plugin and it's like telling me. You also can, if you're using AMP, you can go like /development equals 1, and then it tells you if you are, you see, it's successful. So this is an AMP page. What did I do to make it an AMP page? I put this AMP in there. That's a bit gnarly. I put this piece of JavaScript which they call Visio or something like that. When I saw V0, I thought like version 0. I'm not putting that into my web page, but it's just the name of the thing. You have to put a viewport, minimum scale one that they want to see. This is the strangest thing, this boilerplate thing. This is like a static piece of CSS that goes into every AMP page, and the idea is that it never ever changes. And what it does, I think, is a bit unnecessary, is to do some sort of fade in or something like that. And then, oh yeah, you can't have external style sheets. You have to inline them with this AMP custom. Another thing I noticed about AMP is it's very pedantic about tags being ended properly for some reason. Yeah, I had to rip out my Twitter thing that was slowing down the web page. I also ripped out the Stack Overflow thing because any external JavaScript that's not in this AMP thing, AMP, by example, there are like, what do you call it, widgets for some services, but not others. Like there's one for YouTube, but I don't think there is one for say Stack Overflow or Twitter. I think there is probably one for Twitter. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. There probably is one for Twitter. No, there isn't. Anyway, hell with it. And then I have my own JavaScript printing out the Navigator user agent, which I've removed. The other thing I like about AMP is that when you can't just use image tags. You have to use like AMP image. And when you start using AMP image, and the same goes for video, I think to a degree, is that the layout by default when using these components is a bit better. You know, it's a responsive thing. Like I always like when I embed an image and then I have to think about making it responsive with some CSS or something like this. I like the idea of just using tags and it's doing like kind of the same thing nowadays. So yeah, I'm converted to. I'm using AMP. I'm quite happy about it. Another thing that AMP image does is lazy load. That's a nice default in 2017. I'm using AMP. I don't think it's a bad thing. You guys should maybe have a look at it. Another thing, it's not just limited to news. I converted my blog, some bits of my blog. I even like, which I'll talk about in another video, I even made this sort of backup of all my videos, and that's in AMP too. I'm using the AMP, and you know, having 500 odd videos on our page would probably not work, but it's lazy loading, and you know, it works. So yeah, I hope you agree with me. If you don't, leave a comment below. If you do agree with me, just give a like. And thanks for watching. And here's to a future of a faster web. I'm all for it. See you guys. Thanks for watching.